Hello, I'm Maisha Riana, and I'm learning how to shoot cinematic videos on my iPhone. Today I'll show you how to color grade iPhone footage. Let's get started. Before we start anything, go over to the settings tab over here and go to color management. And your timeline color space should be DaVinci Wide Gamut, DaVinci Intermediate. And your output color space should be Rec 709 Gamma 2.4 if you are on a Windows. If you are on a Mac, it should be Rec 709 Gamma 2.2. You need to have the correct settings, project settings, before you color grade so that your colors suit right to your image. Now, on your 3D lookup table, make sure it's in tetrahedral. The default settings is trilinear, but always make sure that it's in tetrahedral because that will make the LUT look good on your footage. Okay, so my settings were already saved, but make sure to save the settings. Let's start with the indoor footage. Press Alt-S to create a serial node. For Mac, I think it's Command-S. And make 6 such serial nodes by pressing Alt-S. And go over to the Effects tab and search up Color Space Transform. It's a drag and drop it to the first node. Right click the first node, go over to node label and write CSTN. In this node for the color space transform, input gamma, use Apolog. So most of the videos that are on color grading in DaVinci, especially for iPhone footage, they say that the CST will be input gamma Apolog and that's it. But this is what happens to your footage and it's not really usable for adjustments, further adjustments. So this is a trick that I learned from a fellow creator. I will mention his channel in the description box below. So we need to have additional informations in there as well. That is, in our output color space, we will input DaVinci Wide Gamut. Output gamma is DaVinci Intermediate. And on our 5th node, select the 5th node and drag and drop another color space transform. And in it, input color space will be DaVinci Wide Gamut. Input gamma is DaVinci Intermediate. And output color space is Rec 709. And output gamma is Cineon Film Log. And on our final node, your final node should always be your LUT unless you're using additional effects like glow or vignette. So on the 6th node, right click and go over to LUTs. I use film looks, all these Rec 709 LUTs. I use D55 or D60, like these two. So let's use D60. So as you can see, it's really yellow and we're going to fix that, don't worry. Okay. Now go over to the 2nd node, right click, go to node level and write white balance. And on the 3rd one, node label is, we will name it temp/tint. And the 4th, it's saturation. So before we do anything in the white balance, right click, go over to gamma and set it to linear. And now select this dropper tool and drop it onto the surface or anything in your image that is pure white. In this case, it was my wall. Okay, as you can see, it has done a lot. It went from here to here. It's still not quite balanced, so I'm going to do it in the temp/tint node. We can always revisit in our white balance node if you want to, that's alright. I'm going to lower the temperature and increase the tint a bad start. We can make it better. Let's increase our offset a bit. And increase our contrast a bit. Let's go over to our saturation. Now there are two ways to increase or decrease our saturation. That is, you can just go crazy over here in this tool, but there is a more professional way to do so, is that right click it and go over to your color space and choose HSV and right click it again and switch to channels and make sure your channel 1 and channel 3 is unclipped, like so. And now we will use this tool over here. I'm going to increase the saturation just a tad bit. Okay. Now let's make 2 additional nodes over here. On our 5th node, we will name it Skin. Go over to the selection tab over here, selector tool. Make sure this dropper is selected and just press onto your skin like so, and press Shift H. This will allow you to see what it is that you really selected. As you can see, our selection is not right here, so we are going to use these tools to make adjustments until we get only what we want to select. Okay, this looks sort of okayish. So make sure your vectorscope is on. If mine is already turned on. If you go over to here, select vectorscope, and on this tool right here, make sure all these 3 are clicked. So what we want to do is, I want this line to be exactly on this line, because that will tell us that yes, our skin tone is right here. So it's way too yellow and I want to make it less yellow. So what I'm going to do is turn the offset until slightly to the yellow side. Let's check how it is. Okay, it's sort of okayish. I'm going to turn the tint up slightly. Yeah, that looks sort of okay. But one thing you need to remember is that the lighting here is yellow, so you cannot just make your face look completely pale, because that will look unnatural. You have to make sure that your skin tone is also in coherence with the lighting that you are in. Let's decrease the contrast a bit. I'm going to head over to my white balance mode once again and increase the contrast in here a bit. And on the skin, increase the contrast a bit more. Yeah, that looks sort of okay. So on the 6th node, I'm going to add a free plugin. It's called DCTL. I will be giving it to you in the description box, so don't worry. Search. Once you install it and add it to your LUT folder, there are hundreds of tutorials on how to do it, so don't worry. Drag and drop the DCTL effect and go over to Tetra Interrupt HSV, and we are going to play with the red values and yellow values. because this is going to affect the skin tone. But one problem is that the dress here is also pink, so it has a lot of red values. So make sure that you're keeping in account of what you're wearing and how it will affect your work in the post. Okay, I'm going to increase the red saturation just a little. Let's do something with the yellow. As I needed, as I decrease the temperature a lot, I turn the yellow hues a bit, not so much that it will have a drastic effect on the skin. Okay, and that was sort of it. You can also go crazy with the effects like glow, light rays, or vignette. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add just one effect after the LUTs. Those effects go after the LUT. So I'm going to add grain to it because I like my shots to look a bit filmy, greeny, kind of. There are a lot of effects in DaVinci Resolve which you can use and give a really different sort of look to your footage. So make sure that you experiment with these wheels, like also the HDR wheels, and then your effects. Search up film grain. I do not like that many textures, so I'm going to decrease the opacity, the texture, the grain size, the aspect ratio a bit. I think I'm going to decrease the tint a bit because it's looking a bit too purplish. You can add a lot of different masks over here to adjust how your light is going to affect your subject, but I'm not going to do that today because I wanted to keep it very simple. Let's increase the tint slightly more. Okay, it looks sort of okay. So I've already laid out my node structure here. The CST in and out are the same, and for the LUT I used the Film Look Rig 709 Fujifilm D55 LUT. So in this case, in our outdoor footage, I'm going to be using some extra effects just to show you how it will look on our outdoor footage. So let's get started. On our white balance, like the before one, we're going to switch our gamma to linear. On the primary wheels, use the dropper and press it onto the whitest part, something of the clip that is pure white. That should bring about some changes. And in the same node, I'm going to decrease my offset just slightly and decrease my gain as well. We're going to adjust them again in our upcoming nodes, so don't worry. Let's do it about 0.93. Yeah, that looks good. So for our temperature and tint, let's increase our temperature to about 60. There's a lot of green going on back there, so I'm going to decrease my tint. Decreasing the tint gives you a greener tone, and that's what I'm looking for right now. Let's make some changes in these wheels as well. These may look like small changes, well they are, but together they make a huge difference. I'll show you a before and after the entire node tree is done. So in our saturation, right click and choose color space as HSV. Make sure your channel 1 and channel 3 are unclipped so that it only affects the saturation and not the hue and value. That's what HSV stands for. So let's increase the saturation a tiny bit. and also boost up the colors ever so slightly, maybe that. Let's decrease the contrast on it as well, like so. And now let's fix the skin tone over here. Go over to the selection tool, make sure this dropper is selected, and press onto the skin. Press Shift H to see what it is that we have selected, and let's play around with these tools to make sure only the skin is selected. Try to take in as little as possible of the dress. That looks about right. I think I'm going to decrease the blur effect just a bit. That's it. Decreasing the shadows, playing around with the gamma and gain. The line is already on the vectorscope. I'm just playing around with it so that my subject looks, the model looks more vibrant. We're going to do that in the DCTL tabs as well. Let's see how it looks. Alright, move on to the DCTL tab. Search DCTL, drag and drop. Let's move on to HSV, increasing the red saturation, the red values. Let's increase the green saturation as well, because there's a lot of green on the background. You can get completely creative with it and do several creative images if you want to. I'm going to keep it to a bit natural over here. Let's do another DCTL plugin, this time DCTL Inter. Keep on making adjustments here until you find something that you like. There is no specific rule on to what you should increase or decrease, in this case at least, because it's going to affect the particular colors of the image. So do what aligns with your vision on the picture that you have inside your head. Now I'm going to add a note after CST out, before LUT. It should come before LUT. This is going to add a mask, like a window. Let's add a gradient window over here. This arrow means feathering. So if you increase the arrow over here, it's going to feather up to here. If you decrease the arrow up to here, it's going to feather only up to here. I'm going to decrease these values a bit so that this part becomes dark and this part becomes brighter, because I want it to seem that the sun is hitting from this side. Let's decrease the temperature. We can add another mask over here to do the brighter side, to add more depth, but I like doing it at the very last node because that gives me the best results. I learned that after experimenting. Now on this node, before LUT, this should come before LUT, I'm going to add a vignette. But effects like glow and light rays, they should come after the LUT. This will give you the best possible result. Decreasing the shining threshold will make your image brighter, and I want it to feel a bit nostalgic, so I'm going to keep it at around 0.5. Let's spread the light across the image, like so. Increase the gain a bit, torso slightly. Let's change the color to something a bit yellowish. And now let's increase our saturation just a bit. Let's also add grain because, as I said, I want a very vintage, nostalgic vibe to the image. Zoom in using the mouse bar to see what grain it is really adding. I'm going to just decrease the opacity slightly. Depending on how you want your footage to look like, make adjustments. Now let's add light rays. Search up light rays and drag and drop. So notice that these effects are going after the LUT node. So the serial in which effect goes in after which node, it's very important. I put in the vignette before LUT. You can also do it after LUT, but I like it before the LUT. So the grain, glow, and light rays, and even halation, which I'm going to get to right now. So they go after the LUT. This is what initially the light rays effect will look like. Don't worry, we're going to change it and make it look all pretty. Increasing the length. Let's soften it so that these harsh rays go away and make it look a bit more soft, as if the sunlight is just directly falling over her. I'm going to keep the color as white because our glow was already yellow. Let's keep the brightness as it is. Let's add halation. I'm going to keep the halation very low because I do not like the excessive feeling of halation on my images. So I think I like it without halation. Let's do that. Okay, finally let's do the brighter part. I think I'm going to make the shadows a bit more. This part a bit more shadowy. Where was our shadow mask? This one is it. So this is the good part of DaVinci, as I said. All the nodes are named, so I know exactly which one to adjust once again if I need very specific adjustments. See, without it, the entire thing just looks very bright. With it, this only her front part looks white or bright. Let's add another mask over here. I'm not going to make that many changes over here because this part is already very bright. Let's increase the temperature to about 50 and raise the gain. I think this is better. You can absolutely go nuts over anything you want to, but to me this is quite good. This looks out of the movie Atonement. I love this frame so much. So let's see a before and after. Using this hand-like thingy, you can move your note tree around like that. This is very useful. So without white balance, without fixing temperature, without saturation and contrast, without skin tone, without DCTL, and without the shadow mask, without vignette, without green, without glow, without light rays, and finally without bright mask. So each of these are very slight changes, but together they make a very huge difference. I forgot to add the vignette. I'm going to add it right now. No wait. A lot of people do not like vignette on their images because they think it looks artificial. It's really up to you, but I think it's going to look good on this shot. I do not want these parts of the image to be darker, so I'm going to increase the anamorphism. And I'm going to soften it a lot so that only this center part is brighter and it doesn't look that bad. There it is. So before vignette and after vignette. This gives it a much more filmy look. And that was it for the outdoor footage.